Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Chris coming at you from my channel I Am Toys. This is the Hot Toys Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker MMS 429. It just came out, I don't know, about a week ago or so. I've been sitting on this for pretty much 2-3 days after it came out, but I just didn't have time. Planned a big move, you know, across the country, USA to be specific. So it's gonna be tough to get into reviews over the next few weeks. I think I'm looking to move probably on the 24th, moving to Arizona. And you fellow collectors out there live there, you know, let me know in the comments. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll see each other. But anyway, we'll get into hit that 4K option on your browser. And before I forget to tell you that, and you know, if you like the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, you know, and whatnot. I was hit or miss with this because when I saw the initial prototype pics, I didn't know if I was really going to like it, and I thought maybe they tweaked the sculpt more. There was something about the sculpt I just wasn't feeling. The Hot Toys bloggers are really good sometimes, and then sometimes not so much. I'm usually a fan of Cheng. I think his name is, or at least his blogger name is Chengmo Style, I believe, from what I understand. And his photos are usually pretty good. I was even struggling to find the likeness of Luke Skywalker in his photos. And I saw a lot of shots with the lighting was really low, or the light was on the face, or honestly there wasn't just any really kind of display light. The one thing you got to do in photography is you got to put figures in display light. You can't take such low-res shots, not low-res shots, but low-light shots, because you don't bring out the detail in the sculpt, and you have to do overhead lighting because then you bring out the shadow detail, and you have a better feel of what the likeness on the sculpt is going to be. And I didn't see that in any of the initial prototype pics, really, and I didn't see it in the production photos, so I was almost not going to pick this figure up. But now, you know, fast forward 3 days or longer now, technically, you know, now that I'm doing the video. But when I received the figure, I unboxed it, and I felt better. We'll say that. My opinion rose. This is one of those figures that definitely looked better in hand. It could have looked better in post-production if they would have used some kind of overhead display lighting, so you got the shadow detail on the face. That's something that, you know, you just have to do. I know Hot Toys, their bloggers, when they do post-production photos, they usually do a lot of Photoshop, you know, backgrounds in. I really don't like that. I feel like it takes away from the figure. But that's what they do. That's what Hot Toys chooses to do. I like just using a regular background, whether it's my figures or, you know, putting it up in my kitchen on a table or something, just blowing out the background, you know, by lowering the the aperture. But it is what it is, man. So it's their company. They can present their figures however they want, you know, and then we kind of do reviews, and I think that helps people kind of make a better decision than sometimes the post-production photos can do. So I would say I'm happy. I still don't feel the sculpt is perfect, but you know, it's better than maybe some of the previous ones we've got. I'm going to do a comparison against the Empire Strikes Back, the DX07, which I still think is really good and holds up to this day. We'll do some comps of that, and we'll get to it. So I'm going to show you this figure first, this look first. I'm going to try to do as many looks as I can. Again, I say time is limited for me, so I'm going to try to do the best I can. I'm probably going to remove the fat suit in between shooting too, because that's a mod that a lot of folks have said looks a little better. Doesn't make him look as chunky, so we will do that. So let's get to it. I'll show you this first and pan around it and rotate the figure around for you, because messing with this hood to get it right is a pain in the ass. So I'm going to let you see it properly set up now so I don't have to try and do it again later, because we're going to be going through accessories, you know, popping hands off and all kinds of shit. It'll become a pain in the ass if I have to stop and then reposition this cloak again. So anyway, let's get to it, and I'll stop yapping. Alright, so we return to basically the same shot. I'm pleased with the tunic, or the cloak on this one. I think it lays well, it pleats well. It's better than the Anakin one. I don't think the tailoring was as top-notch as it was on this. And yes, it does look purple. Well, believe it or not, someone showed me a picture, because we were discussing this, and when the light from the film, wherever, I think it was in Jabba's palace, when the light hit his thing when he was looking at Jabba, it actually does look purple. So we might be complaining but basically complaining for nothing, because I think it may actually have been a dark purple, and it looked purple in that photo, and it looked exactly how this is, and I know it looked brown initially, and it looks brown because it was dark and you really have light hitting it as much, but on the one shot that he showed me, it actually does look purple, so I think it probably actually is screen accurate. And I know Hot Toys has botched some color accuracy in the past, but I don't think they did it with this. I think they actually did it right. So anyway, let me rotate him around for you, let you show it. Show them from the side. Like I said, I think he pleats really well. Posing, the hood is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it's not bad. But I like the way this sits. Like I said, I think the tailoring on this is a lot better than the Anakin one, at least from recent that I saw. I know there's a Yunsel outfit or something rolling around for this guy, and there's some customs out there. And I know some people might ask whether or not this ranks up there with it. But I mean, if you're into customs, you know, go ahead and grab one. I have quite a few myself. But would I shoot for that over this? I don't know. I don't think the differences are that big. And whether it's really worth the heavy price tag for the custom if you can't afford it. You know, I don't know. It's all up to you in the end. You know, but for this, if you want to figure for, I think this was what, $250 or something, $240. And if you order through Sideshow, I think it's a pretty good bargain. I think they did a pretty good job. If you want to chase down a custom outfit for it, you don't like the one that's on it now, you know, that's understandable. But you know, I don't think it's that bad. I think the only mod I'm really going to do this is remove the fat suit on it after this next shot. Once I take off the cloak and, you know, and so on. So I'm actually going to put this in steady shot mode, and I'm going to pop this off, so forgive me if it shakes a little bit. I just want to get up a little bit closer for you guys. So as you can see, I like the likeness. It's definitely growing on me. I'll tell you what I think about the sculpt at some point later on in the video. But I definitely like how this thing lays. It's pretty good. So, alright, I'll give you kind of an aerial view and side view. Kind of rotate around this guy. I really don't do, but I figure it's a little bit easier than just rotating him around, so you get more of a virtual dynamic, right? Or aerial dynamic. At least with the sculpt on. I mean, with the hood on, the sculpt on, right? Alright, so let's get the hood off him, and I will take that fat suit out. Well, we will talk about it. Alright, there's a shot of him in the dynamic pose, and I got rid of the fat suit that's on him. And by fat suit, I mean this. This thing was on him, and it definitely added some bulk to him, which isn't needed because Luke Skywalker and Mark Hamill was not that fat and not that bulky. So we got rid of this. Goodbye. And he's much thinner, looks much better. And obviously I took it out before, so you kind of can't see it now, of course. I mean, that's my own fault, but it's all good. You'll get over it. But definitely take it out. The only problem with that is that the belt and the waistline is going to become a little bit looser when you're posing them. The shirt's going to become untucked a little bit easier. I'm going to turn them around to the side, and I'll show you what I mean a little bit. I'll kind of flick the whatchamacallit and give you an idea. I'll do that in a second. But first, I want to talk about the sculpt real quick. Initially, based off of the initial protopics and what I saw in you know, the production shots, man, I looked at the sculpt and I'm like, this is about a 6. It was just, it didn't look good to me at all. I'm like a 6. That's not, I don't even know if that's worthy of me buying it to keep. I mean, I would have bought it and flipped it if I didn't like it in hand. And this is definitely one of those figures you got to get in hand. You got to light it right. Don't just put it on your shelf, on a bookshelf, and try to pose it and expect it to look good. because the sculpt won't look as good, and that was the problem for me, like I mentioned before in the shots. You got to display these figures under the right light. It's got to be overhead lighting. You got to get the shadow detail on the face to come out, because that's when you kind of, it's your best shot at, you know, getting the likeness and all the features out. And I'll probably keep him in this pose, honestly, to tell you the truth. At least for me, that's what I'll end up doing. I don't know, but I almost want to get another one of these so I can actually have him in the cloak. But I do like this look. It would have been nice to have a second head sculpt with this, an expressive look. You know, when he's on the barge and his hair's blown to the side, and you know, the saber out like this, because this is that pose from that scene. But I mean, the face still looks good. The expression on it now still looks good. You know, it doesn't take away from it. Still looks badass. But it would have been nice to have a second sculpt, and I'm in the process of possibly getting another sculpt, a relaxed facial sculpt like this, and the expressive one from the barge. A gentleman named Inigo Gill, I believe, is making 2 heads, $100 a piece, I think he said, unpainted. And the average paint is going to cost you about $1.50, maybe a little less, anywhere from $120 to $150, even maybe $180, depending who you go to. Guy I go to charges about $150. So that's probably who I'll be going to, which is going to cost me another $300 just to get those heads painted. On top of the $100 for each head, it's going to be, this is an expensive hobby, folks. It's an expensive hobby to get into, that's for sure, man. And you got to be careful, because you can F yourself up really good if you overspend. But anyway, now I would definitely give this sculpt, as I have it, as I perceive it now, I would give it a 7.5 to an 8. It's definitely pretty good. If they could get the nose a little bit better, you know, Hamill's likeness is really hard to nail. We've seen that through Sideshow's attempts, which have been atrocious, to say the least. And Hot Toys has honestly done the best, just about above anyone. I think there's a few customs out there that weren't bad, but Hot Toys has been pretty good. There may be a custom or two, like I mentioned, that's possibly better, depending on the film you want to represent, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. So let me turn him to the side for you real quick, show you what I mean. I'm also going to turn this off so I'm not killing the battery. And I'm going to turn him off to the side. And as you can see, so let me make sure that this is still in focus. This is definitely a little looser right here. See, that just comes off, and the bulk kept it more in place, but it's not that big of a deal, man. You just push it down and you line up the Velcro a little bit better and so on. But it's all right. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to take him off. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and give you some aerial tour of that face from left to right as well, and the body, and give you a few more commentary, a little bit more commentary, and then we'll show you some accessories. Alright, so there's a closer look at the head. Definitely like it. More than I initially thought I would. So soak that in. Almost look like the saber still lit up a little bit from my angle. But definitely happy with this figure now. Again, picking up 2 more head sculpts would be good. There's a few gripes on the tailoring. Not enough to mention really per se. Actually, yes, there is one. Now the top right shoulder, his shoulder, would be your left. The magnet on mine doesn't work too well. It doesn't stick too well. I mean, I have to press it a couple times for it to actually stick, and to fold it down, it doesn't stay down. So if you want to get that look, at least on mine, it doesn't stay. So, and I find the more I bend it to try and get that peeled over look, and then try to remagnetize it, reclose it, doesn't work too well. And then it looks horrible. So I'm not going to bother taking that off and showing you that, because I'm also going to F it up. And it's not enough. It's not a deal breaker for me, because I wouldn't keep him in that pose anyway. I'm sure there's a couple of videos out there you can check it out to see if he does. But my magnet doesn't work well, so I'm not going to be doing that look for you. There was a few loose threads on the figure too as well that I had to cut off. And that's on the inside of the flap too as well. I had to get rid of that. But overall, the tailoring is decent. And you definitely got to get rid of that fat suit, folks. Alright, so let's get to some accessories, and I'm going to do some comparisons with the DX7. Alright, so everyone's favorite part, the accessories. So this is the first hand. You get a bunch of open and closed grips. They're obviously all interchangeable. Paint app is pretty good on most of them. Obviously you'll be able to do some force, poses and so on. You do get a bunch of them. I thought you got 2 gloved hands too, but I can't remember. I feel like I lost one already. Second closed fist. You can hold the blaster with this, or you can even hold the saber. And you get this one. This one you can use with that open hand pose that I had in the beginning, or use it as a force pose. I love this hand. I don't know how I'm going to use it yet, because I like having the hilt on there with the saber on, so it looks like the saber is activated. But with this, I mean, you can do the same thing. Obviously, you can put the other hand back in and just like drawing a blank. You can just put the other hand back in and use this. But I like being able to have that light up, choice. So, I don't know. And taking that arm in and out, the batteried arm, is a royal pain. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn. That's why kind of having 2 almost benefits you, especially with that arm. I'm going to tell you right now, taking that arm in and out was a royal pain for me. So get ready. Even taking the arm out of the outfit and then trying to put it in, yeah, it's not going to work very well. I can tell you right now, this is my one gripe. One of maybe a few. Another open hand. But out of all the hands, though, that's definitely my favorite. I like that they have that. Blaster hand, and another hand that you could probably use for some kind of force pose. Yeah, this is you obviously get another vest. This goes on the goes on the outside of his existing outfit. I took that off. Probably not going to be using it much. This is the belt that goes with it. Again, not going to be using it. Just don't feel like it, man. Not going to bother showing you that look either, because I don't like it. There's a couple of the videos too you could probably find that'll show you that, but I'm not going to do that for you today. This is one of the alternate bottoms to the base that you can use, and you can also attach this to it as well, and that goes to the back, give you another added effect. Probably not going to be using that either. A lot of stuff I'm not going to be using. And this is the other interchangeable bottom graphic that you can use. That's what I'm using on this right now. And probably not going to change it. Probably not even going to use this base, to tell you the truth. So yeah, not using a lot of stuff. And one last thing is going to be this. This is the hilt that looks like he's fanning the or swinging the saber. I really like that they added this. I think this is the first time they added something like this. That's pretty awesome. I'll probably show you a pose with that next, and then I'll close out on that same segment as well. So see you on the other side. Alright, so we're going to close out the video with a shot of these guys back to back. Final thoughts, concerns. I just wanted to say that I know Dean had some issues with neck bleed from the collar. I didn't have any of those issues with him. So if anybody was worried about it being widespread, hopefully it's not. And maybe that relieves some of your concerns. As far as him stacking up against the DX07, it's kind of hard to really make a comparison because they're representations of 2 different films. So I don't really know where you could go. But if I had to pick a favorite, I don't know, man. Out of the DX7, it would be him. I like this version of him. I think they caught that. They embodied this embodied that part of the film really well. The relaxed expression on him over here is not bad. You know, but I have to rewatch Empire Strikes Back again to really do a good likeness comparison. Well, the DX7 is great. The tailoring was pretty good. I think it still stacks up even today. It's pretty good. So the overall value of this set, you know, the sculpt I give about an 8 to an 8.5. And overall value of the entire set, I would probably give a 9, I guess. Or maybe an 8, yeah, same, probably 8.5 to a 9 overall for everything that you get. Would have been nice to have another second head sculpt. Then I probably would have given it a friggin' 9.5. But they don't give you that, so it's all good. Whatever, man. Hot Toys maybe one day. I know they have another version of the figure coming out at some point, so maybe you'll be able to swap heads or something, or they'll give you something. I don't know. So if you like this video, feel free to follow me on Instagram and on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Don't. It's all good. You're not hurting my feelings. And that's really about it, man. Just hit me up with any questions, comments, or concerns that you might have. Hopefully I can answer them for you. And keep collecting, folks. Deuces.